What's going on, guys? This is Randy here from Garrison Speed Shop, and today I think I have a very useful video for anybody who's buying a first project car, or maybe it's your 20th project car. You're in the market and you're looking to come in at the right price. That way you can do all the modifications to the ride, your new ride that you want to do, and not break the bank. And at the end of the day, the main goal is not to do what many of us have did so many times and get so involved and so wrapped up financially into a project car that the resale is you're never gonna be able to get your money back out of it, and you're definitely never gonna make money after you drove it. So this is the top 10 tips on purchasing a budget project car. You don't necessarily have to hit all 10 of these, but the more of these 10 that you can put into place when buying a new project car, the better you're gonna come out. As far as my base, I am a military officer. I spent the last 22 years in the Army, either enlisted or lately, the last 10 years being an officer, getting ready to retire. But I have purchased in my lifetime hundreds of project cars. I think by the time I was 18 years old, I've had a job since I was 13. And at the age of 18, I think I had owned 21 or 22 cars. I had it wrote down somewhere at some point, but, and that was just buying, trading up, doing all of the things to upgrade and keep getting better vehicles. And I'm going to do another video on that, on how to trade up. And I'm going to do a third video on how, when you now got your project car, what are the cheapest ways to modify it and stay within a budget. But this is all about getting that project car in your collection and getting started on driving something that you really enjoy. What this is not tips on buying your next daily driver, right? This car behind me, we're gonna go over at the end. This is my new E46 project. This is a 2003 BMW 325i. I'm gonna go through these 10 steps, and then I'm gonna go through with you how many of these steps I hit on purchasing or acquiring this car, and how that did for me, and what value I was able to get this car at, and where we're at on it currently. But this is not for your daily driver, right? My daily driver is a SRT 392 Challenger. I got a good deal on it, but not the kind of deal that we're talking about today. That was gonna be my new daily driver. That was gonna be the car that I go to Hot Rod Power Tour in every year. That was gonna be the drag week car, the sick week car, all the major hot rod events that I'm gonna go to where I have to drive across the country reliably, get there, race at every stop, and be able to make it home. And it has not been a budget car, okay? Forged the internals, it's a nitrous car, spent a lot of money on that car. That's not what this is. So we'll jump right into it, guys, go through the list, and at the end, I will go through this build and where I'm at on it now, and how I was able to use a number of these to get a great deal on this car, BMW behind you. So number one, this is one of the most important strategies on the list, in my opinion, when you're trying to get a project car, a weekend car to build, whether it be a father-son project or whatever, is get out of the rat race for desirable cars and desirable trucks, desirable vehicles. That is it's one, because I think it's probably the most important. You have to, if you're gonna do a budget build or try to come into a car cheap or any of that type of stuff, you gotta get away from the desirable cars, quote unquote desirable cars, right? Because if you're a true hot rodder or you're a true car guy, there's a lot of desirable cars. It's not just certain ones. So you gotta get away from the rare cars. My dream car is a 66 Super Sport Chevelle, Chevrolet Chevelle. SS. Now, I'll probably never own that car. I did very well for myself. I made a decent amount of money. I make six figures. But I'm just not going to pay that money for that car because it's never going to be my daily driver. I'm never going to daily drive a 66 Chevelle SS. Mainly because it's a rare car and then you're putting miles on it, you're decreasing value. That's a whole other conversation. I would probably buy a Malibu and I would turn it into what I wanted to do with it. But get away from the cars that everybody has to have, all right? I kind of did that with my SRT build, even though it's not a project car. I got the 392. I know the 392 is kind of maxed out in its factory option, makes a lot of horsepower, but to make more, you need forged internals. So I got it, forged the internals. Now I can handle up to a 250 shot of nitrous. And instead of buying a Hellcat, which is a very desirable car, I was able to take this car, do everything to it, and I'm going to be making more than Hellcat power with the car, stock Hellcat power. Don't jump on me, Hellcat guys. More than stock Hellcat powers, and I have something that is custom and is made to fit me, which I think is kind of what the car scene is all about. So number two, if you have the means to get it corrected, only if you have the means to get it corrected, buy a no title car. And what I mean by means to get it corrected is either you live in a state, either you're buying an older car that doesn't have a title, and you either live in a state that will register a car that's older than whatever, 30, 25 years, 30 years, 35 years. Lots of states are different. Or you have the ability to somehow get that car registered in one of those states. Like I said, I am active duty military. I have been over the last 2 decades. But the state of Alabama, where my driver's license is, and where I'm technically a resident, if a car is 35 years or older in Alabama, it doesn't matter if it has a title. You can take it straight up to the DMV with a bill of sale, and you can register it. And if you have a desire to get a title, you can work through the process, get it inspected, and get a title. I have used that to my advantage so many times, where I'm buying a car in, say, Louisiana, or this is my house in Mississippi, my house in Louisiana, where my family is, about 3 hours from here. They don't have those rules. So if you don't have a title in Louisiana, you're not getting it registered. So I can buy a car there that's almost worthless to someone in Louisiana and turn around and go get it registered in Alabama. Another process is the bonded title process. Just to stay on the Louisiana thing, Louisiana doesn't do bonded titles. They don't honor bonded titles. States like Texas do, Alabama does, Mississippi does. You can just buy a car and get a bill of sale, take that bill of sale to the state. I do all of mine in Alabama, but the process in Alabama is depending on the year of the car, which is what I'm doing for this one. I am doing a bonded title for this one. This is an 03, so the title bond is cheaper. Title bond on this one will be like $100. Takes a few weeks to kind of get going. You do process through the state where you apply for the approval to get a bonded title. That takes about a week generally. Sometimes it's quicker. And then you go to a bond company. I go through Surety One, and you pay whatever your $100. They give you a title bond. You take that and your bill of sale, and you get a bonded title. And the great thing about a bonded title in most states, like in Alabama, once you have a car for 3 years with a bonded title and no one has came back and said, hey, that was my car, and you had to use the bond to get your money back, which is essentially what the bonded title process is. If you made it through that in 3 years, then you get a clear blue title after that. And you've essentially probably doubled or maybe even quadrupled the value of the car, because now you have a clean title for that car. Number 3, buy a max owner frustration vehicle. The way you would do that is you're looking, if you're buying cars off Marketplace, which I think most of us are. Craigslist is kind of dead. I used Craigslist for years, but Craigslist is kind of dead. Pay attention to the ad. The owner will generally tell you everything you need to know about whether or not you need to be pursuing this car in the ad. So if you're seeing things like, I know what I got, or no low ball offers, and low balls, but price is firm, like move on, find another car. That's not your car. That's not the car you're going to get a deal on. Don't get emotionally involved in the process of buying a project car. Just don't do it. That's not on the list, but that's also a great tip. But if you're seeing things like Ramblin' Park, don't know what's wrong with it, and especially when you're seeing things like I just want it gone or come get it out of my way, that's where you want to go, right? That's where you want to go. That's an owner that is frustrated with even looking at the car. I have been there. I sold my 66 Galaxy a while back, and I didn't put stuff like that in the title, but I was frustrated with it. I was doing an engine swap, things kept going wrong. I ended up just selling that and breaking even on it. But that's where I was emotionally and mentally with that car. I just wanted it out of my life. I wanted it out of this garage. I wanted to move on to the next project. But when somebody's putting something like that in the actual listing, that's an opportunity for sure to get a great deal. Much easier buyer to negotiate with. Number 4, buy the base model. This is another important one, right? Like, if you're buying a project car, typically you're going to do a lot of modifications to the car in general. So why buy the perfect model that everybody's looking for? If you're planning to modify it anyway and make it your own, why buy a car like this one? Like the M3 version of this is insane. It's insane. They're almost unpurchasable. I mean, they're so sought after, but you can buy this and you can mod it out just like an M3, especially aesthetically cheap. And engine wise, I mean, hell, I may end up LS swapping this, and then, turbo LS, and this is going to make even more power than an M3, but don't buy the base model if you're on a budget. Now, if you're that guy and you want to have that 66 Super Sport Chevelle, and that's the only way you're going to be happy, and that's what you have to be able to sleep at night and feel like you're a true car guy when you go to car shows, then by all means, get what you need, but you're not going to get it on a budget. Number 5, target the ugly duckling. This is a funny one, but this is true. This is true. Buy a car that only has the value to you because you can see the vision. Vision is so important when buying a project car. These wheels on this car are hideous. They keep me up at night. They're bad. They're horrible. I mean, I don't have the center caps, but even if I had the center caps, I've looked up what they look like with the center caps. These are god awful. But I knew I was going to put my own wheels on the car anyway. So when I looked at the car, we're kind of getting into that thing I was going to do at the end. But when I looked at the car, wheels didn't matter because I already had the wheels in my mind that were going to go on the car. If you're going to do, if you're planning on painting the car a different color, who cares what it looks like? Who cares if it's got a little body work it's got to do? If you're already going to paint the car, or you're already going to wrap the car, or whatever you're going to do with it, who cares? The hood's got a giant dent in it, and you're going to put a Cal & Hutchin hood on it. Who cares? If the bumpers are broke and cracked, who cares? The bumper on this one, the paint is peeling. It's like one of the few spots on the car the clear coat's peeling. I don't care because I'm going to put an M3 style front bumper on it. So I didn't care that it was peeling a little bit on the front. Buy the ugly duckling. Don't buy the car. Like I said, if you're trying to modify a car, I'm going to keep coming back to this. If you're planning to modify a car, don't buy the car that in the seller's mind is already perfect. Because if you're buying a car that in the seller's mind is perfect, he or she's not going to be easy to negotiate with, because in their mind, they're sitting on a gold mine because they have their perfect car. And their perfect car probably cost them a lot of money, and they're not going to want to lose a lot of money. Number 6, search for cars that have deficiencies you're planning to replace or upgrade anyway. We kind of went into that on the last one, but perfect example again is the wheels. These wheels are awful. I was going to get my own wheels anyway. And use that to your advantage when you're in the negotiation process. Like if the wheels, it may not be, you'd be like, I really don't like those wheels that are on there, and the tires are dry rotted, but you're planning on putting new tires on it anyway. You're gonna go with a different wheel and tire package. There's a number of different ways to use that one to your advantage. Like this one didn't run when I got it. I was pretty sure I could fix it, and I did. Barely cheap, and I did. But my kind of plans to this car eventually is to do something wild on my YouTube channel that you guys are watching on right now. By the way, subscribe. Check out all the other builds and everything else we got going on. But the plan eventually was always to either in some way V8 swap this car. LS swap, small block Chevy swap, anything. Like I am confident I could put any V8 in here and get it to run, and I'll probably, the LS swap thing is common. I may end up doing something, even crazier than this one. So we're getting off on a tangent. But the drivetrain and the car didn't matter to me. Now, if I could get it running, which I did, then it's a plus, because then I can take that drivetrain out and get the car in my mind for free, right? For what I have invested in this car, if I decided to LS swap it or V8 swap it and move forward with that process right now that I've got this car running for essentially free, I could take the drivetrain out of the car and sell it, and I literally would have gotten paid at that point for this car. I have so little invested in it. So just another thing to think about. Wasn't worried about the drivetrain. Didn't matter to me. I didn't figure that into the cost of the car. So again, search for cars that have deficiencies that you're planning to upgrade anyway. Number 7, this is an important one. I know this as a buyer and I know this as a seller, is haggle pricing with the seller. But if you can, do it in person with cash and bring a trailer. If you bring a trailer when you go look at a car, that takes any doubt whatsoever out of the seller's mind that you're a serious buyer. If you roll up with a pickup truck with a car hauler on the back, or a U-Haul on it, even more if you had to rent a U-Haul, is that you've done invested into a U-Haul, which I wouldn't recommend. Go get a car hauler to pay for itself 1,000,000 times over if you're going to be a car guy. Trust me. Take my advice on that one. If you show up with a trailer, they know you're serious. If you show up with a trailer in person with cash, your negotiation level and ability at that point has moon blasted, as opposed to on Marketplace at 11 o'clock at night while the guy's trying to get his kids in bed, and you're trying to, would you take this? Would you knock off because of this? When can I come look at it? Do it in person. Figure out when you can go look at the car. Be sincere. Be a good dude or dudette, and go look at the car and take cash with you. Haggle in person. You'll get a much better deal. It's a lot easier to sell a car when a guy's standing in front of you with a pocket full of cash and you say, hey, I'll count out the $100 bills right now. It's a lot easier to lose money that way and kind of get talked into that than typing on your cell phone at 11 o'clock at night. Like I said, if you're trying to get your kids in bed and some guy's lowballing you. Part of that is you're going to have to deal with, sometimes you're going to show up and you're not going to get the price you want, and you got to move on, and that's fine too. Like I said, don't get emotionally attached to a single car. There's billions of cars out there. I don't know if that's true. There's definitely millions of cars out there, project cars. Okay, number 8. This one may sound a little messed up, but I don't mean it in a derogatory way or like an offset way, but target crisis or predicaments. Crisis may be a little strong, but if a seller in the ad is saying, it's going to sound messed up, right? But I don't mean it that way, and I'm just being honest and trying to get a deal on a vehicle. It's because at the end of the day, you work for your money and you're trying to get the best deal. But if somebody is saying, hey, I really need the money for X, so I need it gone by tomorrow, like nobody's putting that in an ad generally if it's not true, because you're losing a lot of sellability value and negotiation value as a seller when you're like, hey, I really need the money, for X or Y. And I'm not saying like target somebody who's like, I need money because my kid's in the hospital. No, I like at that point, the good dude in me would be like, I need to go buy this car and give him what he's asking and maybe try to see if he needs some help. But I'm saying they're like, I'm trying to fix my other car. I don't really use this one. Need to get rid of it. Need it gone. Want it gone. Landlord wants it gone. Something like that is what I'm referring to. Number 9. Look out for and seek the oldest listings first. And better yet, buy a project car that isn't even for sale at all. And we'll get to what that means, the second part. When I get on Marketplace, there is advantages for being the first one to try to buy on the listing. And there's advantages for one that's been listed forever. There's not really any advantages in the middle, in my opinion. Everybody in the middle, everybody's haggling. Somebody might be interested in it. Multiple people are interested in it. He's bouncing your deal off of this other deal from some guy 3 hours away that's not going to come look at the car in the first place. He's bored on a Saturday night, that type of deal. But being early can be an advantage, but I would much rather be late. I want to find the ad that's something, like I said, because you're putting these other things into place too, right? You're getting out of the rat race for the super desirable cars. You're looking for a car that's a no title car, that you can potentially get a title for. You're looking for these max frustration things. You're looking for the base model, not the super desirable one. If you're using all that, then that's going to help out a lot when you're looking for these older listings. Because if you're buying something that fits in all those other categories and it's also been on the market for months, I mean, I bought stuff off of Marketplace that had been up over a year. The guys basically forgot that he even has an ad on it. I did that before. I messaged the guys like, is that still up? I figured that expired. Because at that point, if they were already frustrated with it, and it already wasn't a super desirable car, but it's a car that's desirable to you, and they've pretty much forgot about it, and sometimes they're not going to have it anymore, but if they still have it, then it's like, yeah, dude, like, come get it, man. Like, because they've already at least got so frustrated that they have accepted not renewing the ad and not continuing to pursue the ad, but they still have the car. So basically they've took it away and forgot about it, which brings me to my second point. Tucking it away and forgetting about it is buying a car that's not for sale at all. The best deals that I've got on, these are even on some semi-desirable cars, is seeing an old car that's out in a field that's, it's not for sale, doesn't have a for sale sign on it, or it's tucked in behind a barn, it's kind of half covered up. Because it's not for sale, but it's forgotten, right? Not forgotten in the fact that they don't remember they own it, forgotten in the fact that it's out of sight, out of mind, it's not really in their way. It's just not costing them anything, and they're not pursuing it. And even better, if they're not pursuing it and they make good money. They make good money. It's a really nice house, but back behind the barn, there's this old crappy car that you might want to fix up. Chances are they don't need the money. and it's tucked out of the way and they've kind of forgot about it. And then you come in and you're passionate and you're being a good guy, being a good dude about, what you would like to do with the car, chances are you can get a good deal on it. All right, number 10, use trade items to lower price or sweeten the offer. This is kind of like my easy button here. This is kind of my calling card. I like trading. I've traded up, I've traded down. One thing I like to do is get a good deal on a pretty good car, build it out, and then trade it for 2 cars or 2 other items, car and motorcycle or whatever, and then kind of split off and build them into 2 good cars. I'm not going to get into that. Look it up. There's Amazon shows and Netflix shows on how to do that. That's not what this is about. I'm talking about using an item to trade for a car. And that's going to lead into talking about this car for number 10. And then we're going to go back to the rest of the list. So stick with me 1 second. Okay, so we got our list. Number 1, get out of the rat race for desirable cars. E46, decently desirable car. This is a sedan, it's less desirable. This is an automatic, less desirable, right? This is kind of higher mileage, less desirable, and that's going to play into later on some of the other ones I use. Number 2, use this one as well. If you have the means to get it corrected, buy a no title car, use bonded titles or the 35-year rule. I'm going to be able to get a bonded title for this car in Alabama. Probably cost me registration, title, and all $150. It's going to be a long-term project. I'll probably have the car for 3 years, and then I'll have a clear blue title, probably quadrupling the value of the car at that point. Number 3, buy a max owner frustration, i.e. ran one part, don't know what's wrong with it. This guy was a mechanic. He was a true car guy, good dude. So it wasn't as big a factor for him, but it was a factor, right? He had moved in another direction, wasn't really interested in the car. He didn't know exactly what was wrong with it. He had some ideas. One of his ideas was right, the other one semi-right. But he was frustrated with it. It wasn't doing him any good. It was just in the way, something else for him to have to mow and weed eat around when he mows his yard. So we used that a little bit too. Number 4, buy the base model. This is not an M3. This is a sedan. It's not a 5-speed or 6-speed. It's, doesn't have the super cool stuff that I'm going to replace anyway. Target the ugly duckling. Like I said, these wheels are awful. It's a silver car. Silver's not like a beautiful color. When I got the car, it was missing the front grille inserts in the hood. But literally these were $20 on Amazon, completely transformed the look of the front end of the car. Front side markers were cracked. These were super dirty. I was able to clean them up, and I am getting the $20 covers to make them as clear as these. These were all cracked up in the super ugly orange, bought those. Those were like $20 on Amazon. Buy the ugly duckling. Has a seat that's ripped up. It's pretty much the only interior flaw, other than that center console there was ripped up. I bought literally a replacement on Amazon for $15, put that in today. This seat is ripped up. I haven't found a driver's seat with good leather yet, but they're literally on Marketplace. I see them all the time where you can get both front seats for like $150 to $200 in good shape. Number 6, search for cars that have deficiencies you're planning to replace or upgrade anyway. So these wheels, they were awful. It actually had a better set of newer BMW wheels on it, but I didn't really like the way they looked on the car. And that is another way that I negotiated the price of this car, because that was his big thing, is he had just paid like $300 for these other wheels. I said, hey man, keep the other wheels. You got something you can put on it that we can roll? And he was like, yeah. And that was these god-awful wheels. But it was fine for me because I had my own wheels that were perfect for this car. I had the vision, right? We talked about vision. I had the vision for what I wanted to do to the car, and neither set of these wheels were a part of that vision. So it wasn't a big deal. Front grille inserts, we talked about that. Front grille inserts were missing. Headlights were messed up. I already planned to do black grille inserts. I already planned to replace these with the super clear front headlights. It sets the car off big time. A lot of different factors. On that approach. We talked about the gun stuff, right? I wanted to bring this up. This is 2 guns. I kind of always plan on being able to do this. So when I see a firearm that I can pick up fairly cheap, I buy it. This one I bought from a family member. They come up with, this is probably a $250 gun. I got it for like $100. This one was a confiscation gun. I bought this from a gun dealer that I know. It's a 44 Special, the Bulldog, Charter Bulldog. Anybody that knows what that is, this is like this is the Son of Sam gun. If any of you guys are unfamiliar, this is what the Son of Sam killer was using. I bought this gun for $59.95. It was completely rusted up. I cleaned it up, took some of the bluing off, but now it's all cleaned up. Shoots great. I got $60 in that. I guarantee you that I can trade this 44 Special and either take $300 to $400 off of the price of a car, or potentially even trade this for something that I want it for a car that has, an engine. You could probably trade this for an engine to the right guy, for an engine that's sitting around that you desperately need, but that guy has it in his way. I just wanted to show you that real quick. Okay, what's another one we used? Look out for and seek the oldest listing first. This one, or better yet, one that's not even listed. This had been listed for a little while, but it definitely was not like a next day, just listed item. Those are harder to negotiate. Number 10, most important on this one, use trade items to lower price or sweeten offer. I literally spent $0 going to get this car. Spent $0 going to get this car. Gun, I probably had $450 to $500 in. Got the car, brought it home. The ignition was locked up in the car. I spent the first night spraying PB Blaster in it, turned some music on, jangled it around, slapped it back and forth, got the ignition and turn over. Now the engine's turning over. I know it's not locked up. I sprayed some starter fluid down in the intake, got it to run long enough to make sure it takes gear forward and reverse. All right, we potentially got a running, driving car. Had a fuel delivery issue. He already had the back seat out because he figured that was a problem. I ordered a $40, like $38 fuel pump off of Amazon. Took me 30 minutes to put it in. Car cranks up. I literally drove it around everywhere same day that I fixed it. So now I have a running, driving, pretty good looking BMW for everything that I have in it, counting the gun that I traded for it, the parts that I bought. I put new wipers on it. I did the headlights. I did a new grille. I fixed interior pieces. I put a fuel pump in it. I have literally less than $600 in this car. And I'm $100 to $150 away from having a title where I can take this thing, register it, have a registered, running, driving, smooth riding E46 for less than $600. So that's how you do it. I did 8 of our 10 tips on this one, and I literally almost got the car for free. And if I were to pull the engine and transmission out of it right now that I've already proved that would run, I could sell those and essentially have gotten paid to go get the car. All right, guys, so in closing, that's my advice on how to get a super cheap project car that you can do a father-son project on, or make a weekend car out of. You want to go to car meets and do it on the cheap. If you take my list that we went over today and you employ as many of these as you can, for every one that you can employ, you're going to get a better deal on the car. I promise you. I've been doing this for a long time. I've bought hundreds of project cars, and although I haven't made money on every one that I've sold, I very rarely take a big loss on one because I come in so cheap. I come in dirt cheap. So no matter how modified I make the car, I'm pretty much just trying to get my money back for my parts. So anyway, guys, this is Randy from Garrison Speed Shop. I hope this has helped you guys out. Be looking for the next video. We are going to do a video on how to cheaply modify a car, the cheap way, the right way, and kind of maximize value on that. And check out all the other builds on the channel. There's a car collection build, my buddy's car collection, that's amazing. Check it out. My buddy Roger Harris's collection. We're going to LS Fest this weekend. We're going to have an LS Fest video up, all the drifting and drag racing and everything there. Subscribe to the channel. Check out everything that we got going on, guys. Randy from Garrison Speed Shop. God bless.